takes time. Hours, days, years. Repetition, dedication, perseverance will take you further, lift you higher, make you stronger. Time is measured in seconds. Success and failure separated by fractions. Champions are created in time.
It all comes down to this time to become the new 14th FEI Topic World Cup champion.
That was a pretty good video. Welcome back, everybody, to the second part of the General Assembly, where we will now be doing the various different votes. Thank you for your promptness as well, delegates. So, ladies and gentlemen, we did all the votes that were necessary for the Extraordinary General Assembly. We also already have elected the scrutineers for this General Assembly as well, so that is done. So the first vote that we will be tackling now this afternoon here in Antwerp, well, first maybe I should tell you that still what the situation with the quorum, maybe I should say that first. So we have in the room voting delegates, we have 60. Online voting delegates, we have 47. As we had mentioned before, for quorum, we would need 69. And we have a total of 107 possible votes. Okay, having said that, now we move on to the very first item that needs to be voted this afternoon, which is point 4.1. And the question that is being asked to you all now will be, do you approve the affiliation of the Nepal Equestrian Federation as an FEI associate member? I do see here that we are receiving a request from Lumi, so before we move into this one, that perhaps we should do another test just to be certain that we know what we're all doing. So if you do not mind, rather than going straight to the affiliation request, we will do a test to make sure you all are nicely awake. So, I don't have the incredible question that's going to be asked now. What does it say? Okay, please select one of the candidates from the list to elect as Disney president. All right, and we have Cinderella, an all-time favorite, Mickey Mouse, and Aladdin. That's a tough choice, huh? 3 guys.
It's gotta be Aladdin.
Okay, let's see what happens.
We can do whatever we want.
Yeah, we need Aladdin today. I agree with you, David. So let's hand it over to Lumi now.
Thank you, Secretary General, and the vote is open. So as mentioned, this is another test just to make sure you've remembered how to vote. So for those that are voting online, you'll need to minimize your Zoom call and head back to your internet browser where you can cast your vote. For those of you voting in the room, the vote should appear on your handset now, and you select 1 for Cinderella, 2 for Mickey Mouse, or 3 for Aladdin. The vote will close in 30 seconds. The vote will close in 10 seconds. And the vote is now closed. The results will be displayed shortly.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid to say that we need a majority, and we do not have a majority on this one. So, Mickey Mouse is very popular. He actually got 41 votes. Cinderella got 37. And Aladdin, I'm sorry, Aladdin, you only got 19. So I'm really disappointed. There were a total of 107 votes. There were 97 votes cast. Since we don't have a majority, guess what? We're going to take out Aladdin and we're going to have another vote. And I'm serious, because we need to test this for the contested elections. So, Aladdin, thank you very much for your candidacy. We will now move to the second vote. So now back to our dear friends Lumi. They need a second. They thought there would be a majority.
Thank you, Secretary General. So we are ready for the second round of voting for Disney President. And the vote is now open. The vote will close in 20 seconds. The vote is now closed. The results will be displayed shortly.
Well, we have a winner. In this case, when it comes to the second ballot, actually, it's the one with the highest number of votes that actually wins. So we're happy to announce that Mickey Mouse, you have won with 54 votes. Sorry, Cinderella, you only got 44. There were 98 votes that were cast, and we're good to go. Thank you very much for that. And thank you, Nalia, and for your vetting these candidacies beforehand. So let's move on, ladies and gentlemen, to the real parts of the agenda today, which is we're going to now go back to point 4.1, and that is we are going to ask you to, do you approve the affiliation of Nepal Equestrian Federation as FEI Associate Member? And you have three options here: yes, no, or abstention. So back to you, Lumi.
Thank you, and the vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
Okay, so yes, ladies and gentlemen, out of a total possible votes of 107, there were 2 abstentions, 96 valid votes, 96 of you voted yes, and 0 no. So congratulations, Nepal. And we have a message from Nepal, and I'll read it to you if you don't mind. Greetings to all of you from Kathmandu, Nepal, and on behalf of the Nepal Equestrian Association and the Board of Trustees, please accept our gratitude for accepting us as an associate member. We are delighted to finally become part of the FEI family to develop and promote equestrian sport in Nepal. We look forward to a constructive partnership with all of you and hopefully meet with you in person soon. All the best, and please stay safe. Thank you very much, Nepal. Moving on to point 5 now, which is the approval of the minutes. So the question to you is, do you approve the minutes of the online ordinary General Assembly of 2020? And you have, again, 3 options here: yes, no, abstention. Back to you, Lumi.
Thank you, Secretary General. The vote is now open. And just a reminder, for those of you who are voting online, if you're having any issues, please write in the Zoom chat and we'll make sure to answer. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed. The results will be displayed shortly.
Thank you very much. So we had 0 abstentions, 97 votes cast, 97 in favor of the approval of the minutes. Thank you very much. We move on to point 6. Do you approve the annual report 2020? Yes, no, or abstention? Thank you very much, Lumi.
Thank you, Secretary General. And the vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed. The results will be displayed shortly.
So there was 1 abstention, 100 votes cast, and 100 of them yes, no, 0. Thank you very much. This is approved. Now we move on to point 9. Point 9, no, 7, sorry, I'm sorry. That's very important. Excuse me. We move on to point 7. Do you approve the annual accounts for 2020? And here again, you have 3 choices. Do you approve the annual accounts 2020? Thank you, Lumi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
Okay, total possible votes was 107. There was 1 abstention, 99 valid votes cast, yes 99, no 0. So this has now been approved. Thank you very much. Moving on to point 9. Do you release the board and the FEI Secretary General for the year 2020? Again, 3 choices. Thank you, Lumi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed. The results will be displayed shortly.
So out of a possible 107 votes, there were 3 abstentions, 94 votes cast, 93 yes, 1 no. The board and the Secretary General have been released. Thank you very much. Moving on, point 10. Do you approve PricewaterhouseCoopers Lausanne, Switzerland as the auditors for 2022? Back to you, Lumi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
Okay, a total possible votes 107, 0 abstentions, 100 valid votes cast, 99 yes, 1 no. PricewaterhouseCoopers has been approved as the auditors for 2022. Thank you very much. Moving on to point 11. Do you approve the revised budget for 2021? Again, we have 3 options there. Thank you. Lumi?
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have no abstentions, 99 votes cast, 98 have approved the revised budget for 2021, and there is 1 no. So that has been approved. Thank you very much. We now move on to point 12, which is the question to you today is, do you approve the financial charges for 2022? Again, there are 3 possible answers. Thank you.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
So, regarding the financial charges for 2022, there were 7 abstentions, 93 votes cast, 87 in favor, and 6 against. So these financial charges have also passed. Thank you for that. We now move on to point 14, which is, do you approve the budget for 2022? Back to you, Lumi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
Okay, so we have, in this case, 2 abstentions, 98 valid votes cast, 95 agree to the budget of 2022, and we have 3 no. Thank you very much. This has now been approved. Now we move on, ladies and gentlemen, to point 15.1, which is internal regulations of the FEI. And the question to you again is, do you approve the modifications to the internal regulations of the FEI? Thank you. Lumi?
Thank you. The vote is open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
Regarding the internal regulations of the FEI, we have 3 abstentions, 97 valid votes cast, 96 in favor, 1 against. These internal regulations have now been approved. Thank you very much for that. Moving on to point 15.2, FEI General Regulations. And the question being asked to you is, do you approve the modifications to the FEI General Regulations? Back to you, Lumi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
Regarding the general regulations, we have 3 abstentions, 97 votes cast, yes 90, no 7. The general regulations have been passed. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, now we move into point 15.3, Paris 2024. As we announced before, we will have a separate vote. The first vote is, do you approve teams of 3 for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games? Back to you, Lumi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is one abstention, 100 votes cast, yes 70, no 30. So this has now passed. So now we will go on with the next vote, which is, do you approve the Paris 2024 Olympic qualification systems? And that is for jumping, dressage, and eventing, including the clarification that was done yesterday during the session regarding eventing. So do you approve the Paris 2024 Olympic qualification systems?
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
So, ladies and gentlemen, for the Olympic qualifications for dressage, jumping, and eventing, we have 6 abstentions, 96 votes cast, 81 for, and 15 no. So these qualification systems have now passed. Thank you very much for that. Moving on now to the Paralympic. So that is now passed. Thank you very much. So now we will move on to point 15.4, which is, do you approve teams of 3 for the Paralympic Games in 2024 Paris? Do you approve the teams of 3 for the Paris 24 Paralympic Games? Thank you. Lumi?
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
Okay, about 109 possible votes. There were 4 abstentions, 98 votes cast, 74 yes, 79, excuse me, yes, and 19 no. So this too has passed for the Paralympic Games. The next point that we will be asking for you to vote on is, do you approve the Paris 2024 Paralympic qualification system? Back to you, Lumi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
Out of a total possible 109 votes, there were 4 abstentions, 97 valid votes cast, 90 yes, 7 no. The qualification system has also now been approved for the Paralympic Games. Thank you very much for that. So, we move on. Point 16.2, which is the jumping rules modification. And as we explained to you earlier today, we will have a separate vote. The first vote is as follows, and it concerns jumping regulations article 236(7). Do you approve that the penalty for exceeding the time allowed in all competitions run under Table A is 1 penalty for each second commenced? If you vote yes, it means 1 penalty for each second commenced. If you were to vote no, it means 1 penalty for every 2 seconds commenced. So you have 2 options, yes, no, or, of course, abstention. Back to you, Lumi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
Okay, out of 109 possible votes, there were 3 abstentions, 98 valid votes cast, 63 yes, 35 no, so this too has passed. Now we will go on with the general voting of the rest of the jumping rules. So the next vote is, do you approve the modifications to the jumping rules? Back to you, Lumi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
So for the jumping rules, we had 1 abstention, 98 valid cast votes, and 97 in favor, and 94 in favor, and 4 against. So the jumping rules have now been approved, excuse me. Okay. So now we move on to the dressage rules, the modifications that are being presented today. And the question to you is, do you approve the modifications to the dressage rules? Back to you, Lumi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
So out of a total possible votes of 109, there were 7 abstentions, 91 valid votes cast, 89 in favor, 2 against. So the modifications have now been approved. Thank you very much. So ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the next point, which is 18.2, the para-dressage rules modifications. Do you approve the modifications to the para-dressage rules? Lumi, back to you.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
So for the para-dressage rules modifications, we have 6 abstentions, 92 valid votes cast, 91 in favor, 1 against. These rules have now been, the modifications have been approved. Now we move on to 19.2. Do you approve the modifications to the eventing rules? Back to you, Lumi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed. The results will be displayed shortly.
So for the modifications to the eventing rules, we have 9 abstentions, 91 valid votes cast, 91 in favor, 0 no's. So congratulations, David. First one, exactly. Let's move on. Endurance, 20.2. Do you approve the modifications to the endurance rules? Lumi?
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
So for the endurance rules, we have 7 abstentions, 92 valid votes cast, 79 in favor, 13 against. These modifications have now been approved. Thank you very much. Point 21.2, driving and para-driving rules modifications. Do you approve the modifications to the driving and the para-driving rules? To you, Lomi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
So for the driving and the para-driving rules, we have 12 abstentions, 86 valid votes cast, 85 in favor, 1 against. These modifications have also been approved. Thank you very much. Moving on to point 22.2, do you approve the modifications to the vaulting rules? Back to you, Lumi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
Okay, regarding the modifications to the vaulting rules, we have 10 abstentions, 88 valid votes cast, 88 in favor, no one against. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on to point 24.2, and that is, do you approve the modifications to the veterinary regulations? Lumi, back to you.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
So for the modifications of the veterinary regulations, we have 2 abstentions, 97 valid votes cast, 96 in favor, 1 against. These modifications have also been approved. Moving on to point 27.2, which is the appointment of the Solidarity Committee members. The question is as follows. Do you approve the following members of the FEI Solidarity Committee appointed by the FEI President for the term 2021-22? We have Igmar de Vos as chair, Ulf Helgstrand as member, Sadir Mamitov member, Catherine Ramsing-Pierre also member, Hania Chinchilla de Wolf, Luis Miguel Soria Céspedes, His Highness Prince Mulay Abdullah El Aloui, Michaela Konjango Yarkowski, and Glenda Varter-Burton from Swaziland as members. And you will vote in one slate. So back to you, Lumi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
So we have 7 abstentions, 91 valid votes cast, 90 in favor, and 1 against. The Solidarity Committee members have now been appointed. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we move on to 29.1, and that is for the EEF Regional Group Chair, who sits on the board. The question to you is, do you elect George Dimares as Chair of the EEF Regional Group for the term 21 to 25, 2021 to 2025? Back to you, Lumi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed and the results will be displayed shortly.
Thank you very much. So for the election of George Dimares, we have 12 abstentions, 86 votes cast, 81 in favor, 5 against. Congratulations, George. Welcome. Moving on, we now will proceed with the election of the Regional Group Deputy Chair for the EEF. And the question to you is, do you elect Sonke Lauterbach as Deputy Chair of the EEF Regional Group for the term 2021-2025? Back to you, Lumi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed, and the results will be displayed shortly.
So regarding the election of Sonke Lauterbach, we have 8 abstentions, 91 valid votes, 87 in favor, 4 against. Congratulations, Sonke, as Deputy Chair of EEF Regional Region. Moving on to point 29.3. Do you elect Carmen Barrera as Chair of the Regional Group 5 for the term 2021-2025? Back to you, Lumi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed, and the results will be displayed shortly.
Regarding the election of Carmen Barrera, we have 10 abstentions, 88 valid votes cast, 87 in favor, 1 against. Congratulations, Carmen. Moving on, now we're going to elect the Regional Group Deputy Chair. Question to you, and that's point 29.4. Do you elect Rocio Echeverri from Costa Rica as Deputy Chair for Regional Group 5 for the term 2021-2025? Back to you, Lumi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed, and the results will be displayed shortly.
Regarding the election of the Deputy Chair for Regional Group 5, we have 8 abstentions, 92 valid votes cast, 92 in favor, No one is against. So congratulations, Rocio. Moving swiftly, we go to point 29.5. And the question to you is, do you elect Stefan Ellenbroek as chair of the jumping committee for the term 2021-2025? Back to you, Lumi.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed, and the results will be displayed shortly.
Thank you. And in this case, for the election of Stefan Ellenbroek, we have 4 abstentions, 96 votes cast, 94 in favor, 2 against. Congratulations, Stefan. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to 29.6. Oh, sorry. Excuse me, Stefan, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Secretary General. Mr. President, dear delegates, I'm not trying to introduce a new habit by having a kind of acceptance speech, but I want to address just one short thing. Of course, I feel honored and I also feel privileged to have the mandate for another 4 years term, working with the fantastic jumping committee, with the fantastic board, and also with the fantastic jumping department. In the years to come, we have to jump a pretty tough course with huge obstacles in my discipline. The course is set now with all the decisions you have taken here in the General Assembly. The good thing is that it will be a team competition we have to do. We need clear rounds, and we definitely should avoid to make time penalties, so the time allowed is pretty snug. So I need your support. And in this case, it's not even unauthorized assistance, and it's definitely performance enhancing if you help, but it's legal. So I really invite you for your support. When I say your support, I do not only mean you as the delegates. I want especially address this to the athletes. I know that some of you have different views on decisions taken by this General Assembly, especially when it comes to the decisions we have taken related to the Olympic Games. Yet I need you, the athletes, in the team. I need you as team member. I said that the course is set. Let's accept the framework we have now and make it the best possible format we can do for the Olympic Games. I'm counting on your advice, and I'm also counting on your expertise. So let's jump this course. Let's jump this course as a team, and let's jump this course together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Stefan. So we will now move on to the election of the Dressage Committee, and just a little clarification. So what we do need to do is to receive either in the first cast or actually the second ballot a simple majority, but it is in both cases a simple majority, which is half plus 1 votes. Okay, so just so we're all clear on about that. So ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 candidates, and we would like you to elect one of the following candidates for the chair of the Dressage Committee for the term 2021-2025. And they're listed in alphabetical order: Ms. Maribel Alonso, Mr. Ulf Hegstrand, or Mr. Martin Regenhagen from Germany. So Back to you, Lumi. Thank you.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed, and the results will be displayed shortly.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there were possible 109 votes. 102 votes were cast. 69 votes in favor of Maribel Alonso, 24 in favor of Martin Uigenhagen, and 9 for Ulf Hegstrand. Maribel has achieved the majority. So congratulations, Maribel. Once again, we'd like to thank all of the candidates for having put forward your candidacy and for having followed the process. Ladies and gentlemen, now we move on to 29.7, which is the election of the chair of the eventing committee. And the question to you is, do you elect David O'Connor as chair of the eventing committee for the term 2021-2025? Lumi, back to you.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed, and the results will be displayed shortly.
Sorry, David, I forgot you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we had 3 abstentions, 96 votes cast, valid votes cast, 95 in favor, 1 against. Congratulations, David. Moving on to point 29.8, members of the FEI Tribunal. There were 3 possible positions, 3 open positions on the FEI Tribunal. We have received the candidacies of Mr. Philippe Corneget from New Zealand, Mr. Armand Leone, and Mr. Cesar Torrente, and we are now asking you whether you elect these following 3 candidates as members of the FEI Tribunal for the term 2021-2025. And back to you now, Lumi. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The vote is now open. The vote will close in 10 seconds. The vote is now closed, and the results will be displayed shortly.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have 5 abstentions, 94 valid votes cast, 93 in favor, 1 against. Congratulations to all 3 candidates. So, believe it or not, we're done with the voting, which is a good thing. What we'd like to do now, since we did skip that point before, is go to point 30, which is decisions by the board. And this includes the appointments by the board of the technical committee members. And also, we will also show you a small slide on those championships and finals that have been allocated. First and foremost, we really want to thank all of the outgoing members on our technical committees and also on the FEI Tribunal for all their hard work. COVID-19 has taken its toll. They've been so busy. It's crazy, and we really thank all the outgoing members. So I will now go ahead and provide you the names of those persons that were appointed by the board 3 days ago, I believe it was, during the board meeting. For the veterinary committee, and I believe we have a slide, Francisco or somebody over there, but anyways, we have, yes, there we go. So the veterinary committee members, we have Anne Courosset from France has been appointed, as is Carlos Ponferrada from Spain, and Sheila Higerty. She has now the term of one of the members that has withdrawn from the committee. And this was all decided during the board meeting, as I mentioned a couple of days ago. So congratulations to them. And again, a huge thank you to the outgoing members of the veterinary committee. If we move on a little bit, we have the medical committee. We have Frans Kazin from Norway, who has been appointed to this committee as well for the period of 2021 to 2025. In the jumping committee, we have Louis Konix. Sorry, I get Spanish when I don't know how to pronounce something. Konix for 2021-2025. Thank you very much. Congratulations. On the dressage committee, we have Peter Starr from Great Britain, who will be also for the term of 2021-2025. Congratulations, Peter. Eventing, we have Alec Lahore, who is back on the committee for 2021-2025. Driving, we have Heather Briggs from the United States for 2021-2025. For Para-Question Committee member, we have Sue Cunningham from Australia, also for the same term. And that's it. So a big congratulations to all of them, and again, a big thank you. Then further to that, some of the decisions that we're taking at the board were the allocation of certain events, finals, series. For 2021, we're happy to inform you that the FEI Jumping Children's Classic has been allocated to Guadalajara in Mexico. That should be a lot of fun. 17th to 20th of February 2022. For 2023, we have the FEI European Championships for ponies for jumping, dressage, and eventing to Le Mans in France. And that will take place on the 27th and 30th of July in 23. For dressage, we have the FEI European Championships for children and juniors, which will take place in Kronenberg in Germany on the 20th and 23rd of July. And in driving, we have the FEI Driving World Championships for ponies 4 in hand, pairs, and single. And that is going to take place in
Oorschot.
There you go. Thank you for that. I didn't dare.
In the Netherlands.
Well, that, we thought so. But anyways, the dates we still have to confirm. We have possibilities either the 23rd, 27th of August or the 30th of August to the 3rd of September. We'll be looking at that and communicating it as soon as possible. So, having said all of that, we are ready down to point 40, which is recognitions, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the board members that have been re-elected. They will stay on board, of course. I also would like to thank Sonke Lauterbach, who has acted as a deputy chair for Armagh and Osgurki when he resigned, but it's good to see that you are again in this position. So maybe, depending on the availability of the newly elected board member, we will see you back in the board. But congratulations also with your re-election. First of all, I would like to thank some outgoing board members, and as we have not seen each other since 2019, I thought it was more than normal that we would also invite the outgoing board members that went out last year in 2020. And one of them is, and we have invited them also here, is Mary Binks, who has been the chair of Group 9 from 2008 to 2020. She is a former competitor, I would say a very colorful character, often driven to tears, but that has nothing to do with emotions, but more with some allergies, I understand. She is also a very strong FEI official, FEI jumping level 3 course designer, FEI jumping judge level 3. She is the coach of the FEI World Cup qualifier winners in South Africa. Of course, as I mentioned already, chair of Group 9 from 2008 to 2020, and when Gigi was elected, Mary was elected as deputy chair, so still in a certain function here. And the board decided in November 2020 to appoint her as honorary board member, and I would like to invite her here on the stage to hand her over the attributes of this honorary board membership. So Mary, where are you? There she is. Yes.
Thank you very much, all of you, the family. I feel I've been here so long. You are my family. But I'm not going to give myself the opportunity to too much miss my family, because I'm afraid I'm not going away. So I will always come here into the bosom and the warm welcome of my family. I thank very much every single person I served on the board, our president, the Secretary General, and I've loved every second of it. So thank you very much indeed for letting me have this opportunity.
And these are real tears. Somebody else who left us last year, who has been very instrumental to the FEI as chair of the Audit and Compliance from 2009 to 2020, is our dear friend Brian Mannigan. He has been very active in equestrian sport, and specifically in Horse Sport Ireland, where he was the former chair of the Eventing High Performance Committee, former Irish equestrian team manager for the Olympic Games in Hong Kong, former board member, former chief executive, although that was part-time, of Eventing Ireland. And also last year, the board decided to appoint him honorary board member. Brian, as I mentioned already in my introduction this morning, has been very instrumental as chair of the Audit and Compliance Committee to identify the risks of this organization, not only from a financial perspective, but also all other potential threats to our organization. And it's thanks to him that we have a very strong and tough risk management system in place. So thank you very much for that, Brian, and can I also invite you to receive a token of appreciation. Jump.
Thank you. First of all, thank you to Ingmar, Sabrina, and the board for this great, great honor. As I came to the end of my time on the board, I really felt I'm going to miss my involvement with the FEI. But this honorary board membership gives me a permanent connection with this FEI family, and I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
This year we had elections, and Frank Kemperman was one of our board members that need to be replaced, and that is outgoing and leaving at least the chair of the dressage committee. I call him here the last of the three musketeers, because the three musketeers being John Madden for jumping, Giuseppe Della Chiesa for eventing, and Frank for dressage, did a tremendous job back in 2016 regarding the Olympic Games. And of course, we all know Frank in many capacities. Of course, he is the face and the event director of Aachen, what is called the Mecca of equestrian sport. And the fact that this is the Mecca of equestrian sport is many thanks to the contribution of Frank Kemperman. His heart basically initially was with jumping, because he was the member of the FEI jumping committee from 2006 till 2008, and he was elected as chair and representative of the event organizers of the FEI Dressage Task Force at the General Assembly in 2008. And as he did a good job in this task force, where he came to the rescue of the FEI, he was then afterwards elected as chair of the dressage committee. He's also a member, or he was also a member of the FEI executive board, a member of the dressage calendar task force for the COVID-19. And I'm happy to say that the FEI board decided also to appoint you as an honorary board member. But the good news is that we don't lose you, that you will still be active in the FEI family, and in a very important position, as you said yourself, going back to your roots, because you started your career as a groom. And are you going back to the grooms and going to take care of the grooms as chair of the Grooms Consultative Group? And I'm sure that they are in very good hands. Frank is also the organizer, and I'm sure that he will be supervising this very closely, of the famous Youth Equestrian Games competition 2022 that we will have in Aachen to replace the Youth Olympic Games of Dakar that have been postponed to 2026. So it's also thanks to Frank that this generation of 14, 8-year-old youngsters will not be deprived from a youth Olympic Games experience. Frank, as member of the executive board, I can only say that your contributions were always very valuable. You didn't hesitate to speak. You always asked the relevant questions, and you were not afraid to question us, to put some criticism, to make it challenging for us, and especially for me, because I felt always when Frank started to ask questions that I had to pass an exam. But it was always good in preparation to these kind of meetings like General Assemblies. So Frank, from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure that I speak for a lot of people here from the bottom of our heart, thank you very much, and can I ask you to come up here to receive also a little token of our appreciation.
Yes, dear Ingmar, I have no question for you. Don't be afraid. It were exciting years. I will never forget the moment that I was asked to do something for dressage. I told the former president that she had the wrong telephone number, but it didn't work. At the end, I promised to do it only for 1 year, and at the end, it was 13 years working for dressage. Sometimes it was dressage, but it was a lot of fun, and I did it because the passion for the sport is there. And okay, time is over, no problem, and I will work now, as Ingmar said, for the grooms. I'm happy to do this, and I would like to wish Maribel a lot of luck. She was already involved in dress for many years, so you will make it. You have my phone number. So Maribel, a lot of luck with the dressage committee, and we will see each other with all the work for the grooms I will do, and I will have a lot of questions for Ingmar regarding grooms. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Another outgoing board member this year, because he resigned and did not stand again, is Arman Özgürki, who was an FEI board member from 2012 till 2021. He was the chair of the regional group 1 from 2012 to 2018, and then EEF vice president, and as EEF vice president, EEF board representative since 2018, sorry. He is a former jumping athlete and was still recently doing that. When I had him the last time on the phone, he said that now he finally stopped, but with Arman you never know. We organized a very successful General Assembly. I think some of you will remember that we had a great General Assembly in Istanbul. And I'm also happy to say that the FEI board decided to appoint him as honorary board member. He's still a part of the FEI family as chair of the Commercial Advisory Board. Arman is not here, couldn't make it, but we will send him the plaquette and the pin, but I would like to ask you for an applause for what he did. We spoke today about raining and had regretfully to say goodbye to this discipline. But as I mentioned today already earlier on, I would like to thank, on behalf of the FEI and in my personal name, the chair of the reining committee, Sven Frieseke. He was in that position since 2015, and also his mandate ends today. He's an FEI technical delegate and FEI steward in Reining. I would like to thank him again for being so fair, being so loyal to the FEI in difficult times. I know it was very tough for you, but you were very perseverant and insistent. And I'm very happy to learn that there are some plans on the way forward, and you can count on our support for 100%. So Sven, thank you very much, and we would also like to give you a token of appreciation.
I do not have to add a lot. Ingmar said all of it, and I would only like to thank you for the support. And we tried to make it run, and unfortunately we failed, but we have plans. Thank you.
And I'm sure we will see each other in the future, Sven, don't worry. So I also want to welcome the new board members. Some of them are already sitting on the stage and they have received all the attributes, but I want again to congratulate them. Brigitte Matthias, Gigi, who is now the chair of Group 9. Janice Charlo, who was elected as a successor of Brian in the Audit and Compliance Committee. You also know that we have added 3 disciplines to our portfolio in 2020, or 3 chairs to the board, and one of them, Marek Hart, as the chair of the medical committee, Amanda Bond, who is following online. Welcome also, Amanda, as chair of the Para-Equestrian Committee, and Pavla Krauspe, who is here as chair of the voting committee. Today we have elected 2 new board members. After these elections, it's Mrs. Maribel Alonso from Mexico. Again, I would like to thank the 2 other candidates for having had I would say, the courage to put their candidacies forward. It is very much appreciated, and it's good also to see that these are not the Stalinistic elections, but that there is some democratic process and that there are several people interested in the job, and we thank you warm-heartedly for that. But I would like to invite the winner of this election, Maribel Alonso, to come up here, to step up, to receive the official golden pin of the as FEI board member. I hope she's in the room.
Probably on a phone call.
Okay, we will do that when she's back. Maybe somebody can go look for her. And also we welcome George Dimaris from Greece. George, we know each other already for so many years. And I think we started in the 90s with the meetings of Group 1, because you were a Group 1 member. Then we merged the 2 groups and had the meetings 1 and 2. And then you were also instrumental for the creation of the European Equestrian Federation that became the new EEF or FEI group. So thanks for being here, and congratulations with your elections. And I would also like to invite you to take the golden pin, and good to see that you are not on the phone, but that you are in the meeting room. Okay. So this one, put on. Where is the box? If you want the box, you can have the box. And here we have Maribel. I hope it was a good phone call you have. So congratulations with your election.
Thank you
and
very
I'm going
much.
to hand over to you the board member pin. Okay, perfect. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Here is the box. Okay. So then also, you know that we have a tradition in this organization to celebrate the FEI honorary delegates. These are delegates that have attended 15 General Assemblies. We have counted also the online General Assembly of 2020, because in the end it was an official meeting. So reached 15 participations in 2020 is Sonke Lauterbach, and I would like to invite him here to receive the honorary badge. This is with the pin and this, yeah, this one is the Yes, you're right, Sonke, we are getting old. Then we have also some people that, and delegates that received 15 participations at this General Assembly. And I would like to invite Regine Fitzner from the Virgin Islands, Fahima Sebiane from Algeria, Venancio Garcia, obvious, I tried to do it in Spanish, not so good, from Spain, and Badr Fakir from Morocco. Can I ask you in this order, please? Regine. Okay, and then of course, normally, if Nepal would have been here, they would also have received a plaquette and the FEI flag, so we will send it by post or give it by a next occasion. We have also invited some very special people from the FEI here, directors that had to leave the organization because they reached a certain age. We are getting old. Huh? And I would like to invite here on stage Deborah Ripplinger, Debbie, to join me here on stage. Debbie started in 1999 to work for the FEI in Bern. Everybody knows her as jumping, but at that time she worked in the veterinary department of the FEI from March 1984 from 1984 to 1985, But then she had to leave that job to move to Lausanne, while the FEI stayed still a while in Bern. 16 years later, on the 5th of June 2001, she came back to the FEI. And at that time, the offices were located in Lausanne, so it became easier in Lausanne, in Montrepos. She's celebrating this year 20 years of service. And the last position she had in our organization was a director at interim in the jumping department. And she took over the responsibility of the jumping department and made a smooth handover to Marco Fusté, and she worked in the FEI till the end of June 2021. Now, if there is one thing we have to say about Debbie, then that is that there is nobody else in the whole world that understands the jumping rules like Debbie. Debbie is the only one that knows if there is an article there that we want to change, that 50 pages further there is another article that gets some impact from a change. So she knows these rules by heart. And she has corrected us many times when we thought that something was easy. Oh, it's an easy fix. No, it isn't. It is much more complicated. And for that, Debbie, we are very grateful because you kept the jumping rules on the rails and you did a very big, important contribution to the revision of the rules. I would have expected that they would have become a bit thinner. That's not the case, but I know you did your best to make the best of it. So, Debbie, thank you very much, and I must say we always appreciated your kindness, your friendliness. You got never excited about something. You were always focused and always smiling, and we will miss that smile in our organization. Thank you very much, Debbie. Another person who left the FEI is somebody all of you again know, and is Jacqueline Bresson. I would like to invite also Jacqueline to step forward. Jacqueline started the 1st of June 1992 in the FEI offices in Montrepos, and she had 29 years of service in the FEI. And I know she has always been very much appreciated by all the national federations because she finished her work in the FEI as a FEI Solidarity Director. I come back to that. She started in 1992 as a secretary assistant to the sports department dressage. Was it at that time also already stressage? Yes, okay. In 1995, she became assistant of the head of the department of dressage, so that was then stressage also in that time, I presume. In 1998, she became coordinator of the development department, that was new. In 2001, development project manager, and finally, in 2006, it was a department, the development department, and Jacqueline was appointed head of the department, reporting to the Secretary General. From head, she moved to director, development department, and in 2009, director of the coaching department also, And then in 2011, finally, we found that all these developments should be renamed, and it became FEI Solidarity. And Jacqueline continued in the role as director of this department, Department FEI Solidarity. I must say that Jacqueline has been a pioneer in development and in the FEI, but also outside of the FEI. Because what you have put in place in the FEI has been duplicated by other international federations. And I know that also you have been involved within ASWAV and IOC in development projects and sharing also of knowledge and good practices. But I must say that I have always been very jealous about Jacqueline, because as a director of the Solidarity Department, she always brought good news to the federations. Yes, we will support you. Yeah, we will even give you money. Where we always, as you see, we need to impose financial or approve financial, how we call it, charges. They never decrease. Sometimes we waive one. But in your case, it's like Santa Claus distributing all these nice presents. So I'm a little bit jealous, but you did a fantastic job in promoting FEI solidarity and stimulating solidarity in all the national federations in a very, very passionate way, day and night. All the time you were available for your babies, for your national federations that needed your help. And for that, I think everybody is very grateful. So in my personal name and in the name of all the national federations, thank you so much. Thank you, Jacqueline.
Thank you, Ingmar. I just would like to say all what I have achieved at the FEI would have not been possible without you. Without you, the board, my colleagues at the FEI, you, the national federations, and thank you for your support, Ingmar. Thank you.
And now, last but not least, she hasn't left yet, but she will leave by the end of the year. And I'm talking here about our famous Grania Willis. If I want to impress people, I always say she's the sister of Bruce Willis. Grania, please come up. Grania has always been involved in media. She was a horse sports journalist, and she's equestrian through and through. For those that don't know it, no mountain is high enough for Grania, and she even climbed and reached successfully the top of the Mount Everest. That's really very special, and that shows your strength, your commitment, your determination, and for that reason it has always been fantastic to have Grania on your side, because with Grania you could always climb any mountain. She worked closely already with the FEI after the Olympic Games in 2008 in Hong Kong, where some of you will remember we had some issues that hit the media and that needed some crisis management, and where we had to rely on Grania to bring back our reputation a bit in a better sunlight, I would say. She worked from 2009 to 2010 as consultant for the FEI Communications Department to work on the restructuring of FEI Communications due to the I would say, the issues we had in Hong Kong, the FEI understood that there needed to be some reshaping. And she worked there together with the communications director at that time, Richard Johnson, that some of you will remember. In 2010, she became Director Press Relations, because we split up in press relations and corporate comms. So Grania became in charge of the press. And then in 2017, she became Director of Communications, and that was then including corporate communications, reporting directly to Sabrina Ibanez, our Secretary General. And since the role has been taken over by Olivia Robinson, you're still in the house till the end of the year to help us with a smooth transition as an expert or executive advisor. Grania and I must say, we have worked so many times together, writing speeches, writing communiques, writing all the time. And I must say one thing, Grania worked day and night. I was always like, oh my God, when 10 o'clock in the evening, I got a WhatsApp from Grania, can you look at this? Oh my God, yeah. And Grania likes to write, so she writes more than one page. And I always, does it has to be so long, Grania? Yeah, because we need to explain it. And when I asked Grania, then is it then so important? Can it not wait till tomorrow? No, Ingmar, it's huge. That's Grania. Grania, it was a big pleasure to work with you. We will all miss you, your dynamism, your smile. I will be a bit more relaxed, I think. But thank you for your passion for this sport, for your passion for the FEI, for helping the FEI, putting back communications on the rails. It's thanks to you also that we are a much greater and better organization than before. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and we will, of course, stay in touch because we all became very good friends of you. You're such a great and nice personality. Thank you for that.
Thank you, dear Ingmar. Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you, board members. Thanks to you, national federations and stakeholders, and of course to my dear colleagues. It's been really wonderful working with you, all of you, over the last 12 years. We've had some fun and interesting times, and sometimes, as Ingmar alluded to, it was like climbing Mount Everest. But we've got through them because we've worked together. Horses and horse sport have been a part of my life, all of my life, and that's not going to change anytime soon. So if any of you are looking for an advisor, I'm expensive, but I'm pretty good, and I'm available from the 1st of January 2022. Thank you.
So you see, she's very clever. So after this commercial break, we come to the last point, and that is to thank the host national federation, the Belgian Equestrian Federation, for hosting this wonderful General Assembly, and I hope all of you have enjoyed it. It's not finished. We have a fantastic party tonight, the Longines Gala Awards evening. I hope I say it correctly, but they will correct me anyway. Thank you, Stefan, you and your team, for hosting us in Antwerp. It was a wonderful experience. Again, it's not over yet, but I would like to invite you here, together maybe with Wendy and Cathy, to take a little souvenir away from this meeting. So I would like, normally we give also a plaquette to the Secretary General, but he's coming tonight. So I invited the two ladies to accept the plaquette on behalf of the Secretary General. So.
Ja, in de middel, dat is perfect.
Ladies. So thank you. This is it from my side. I don't know, Sabrina, if you have some housekeeping things to deal with. I'm happy to pass the floor to you for that. But again, let me thank all of you, as well those here in person as online, for having participated in this General Assembly, having participated in the debates, having taken some important decisions for the future. And now I would say, let's work together on the future, together, and let's have a great party this evening. Thank you very much, and I pass the floor to Sabrina.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, a little bit of housekeeping. The fun is about to begin. So tonight's celebrations, as you know, will take place at the Antwerp Expo Black Box. There are buses that will be leaving Hilton lobby, so please be at the lobby at 7 p.m. tonight, 19 hours, and they will accompany you to the buses. There will be return shuttles, and for those of you online, we will miss you dearly, but we will have a good time anyways. There will be return shuttles tonight as of 11:30 in the evening, so I guess we're really expected to have a great time. And there is more information at the welcome desk regarding your return shuttles for tomorrow, for your departure to the train station. So please, if you don't have that information, which was provided to you through the daily news, please go down to the welcome desk. Whatever you do, please leave your voting devices at the table. Okay? Thank you very much. And board members, we have a board meeting following this General Assembly, and it will take place here in this room, so please don't go anywhere. Thank you very much. Great seeing you. Looking forward to seeing you tonight.
What is the architect doing? He is by the riverside. What is he thinking out there? He is committing eagle-side. Now isn't that a strange thing? Well, to him it feels just. Oh, we guess a person's gotta do what a person feels he must. He said, I won't throw myself from the pier. I'm gonna go home and shut up for a year. And when the year is over, I'll reappear and have a solution. I've reason to believe that what I find is gonna change the face of humankind. And all these years before, well, I was blind. That's my conclusion. 'Cause I'm the architect.
I think it's touch and go.
'Cause I'm the architect.
I think it's touch and go.
'Cause I'm the architect. Man has understood that outer space is overrated. About all the problems on this earth we should. We're out of soul and so he's brooding and alluding on a perfect design. He thinks that working on behalf of himself is a crime. He flashes out.